thinking. And that's why I have a job. Let me explain. All right, we're going to talk about that today on the live. I'm Junior Kekueva Jr. from Here For You Life Coaching. Now, what am I really talking about? Well, I'm talking about the fact that when you are conditioned into a certain set of beliefs or into a certain way of doing things or into a certain, let's say, profession that has parameters, you tend to function within those parameters unless you are more, inclined to entertain other ideas or to search outside the box. But in the beginning, when you're young, you have these borders. Okay, the only reason I really have a job is because, when people go on their journey, right, and they get to be top-notch professionals, right, they start to identify with the profession more than they identify with, you know, let's say more than they identify with the person. Okay, so it's Bob the attorney, right? It's Chris the doctor. It's that kind of thing, right? And when this begins to happen, you start to assume that identity. Okay, so now, good morning to everybody. Good morning, Hannah. So you start to identify with that, okay? And when you start to identify with yourself as the profession, with yourself as the lawyer, with yourself as the doctor, what happens is you start to lose track of you, okay? Now, this starts at a very early age, right? Because, we're told or we're taught or we're conditioned that, okay, well, if you go to college, you get a better job. Yeah, you can get a better job if you do that. You can get a better job on your own without college. It depends on what you want to do. Some things require college and some things don't. But what I'm talking about is when you go down the road, right? When you go down the road as the attorney or as the, whatever your profession is, as the doctor, as the judge, as the, okay, all of that, okay, as the politician, as the, whatever it is, plumber, as the electrician, as the carpenter, you start to assume, okay, all of the all the identifiers of that profession. Okay, so people start identifying you as the carpenter or as the plumber or as whatever it is. Now, when this begins to happen, you start to function that way. Now, those of you who are high performance professionals understand what I'm saying. Maybe the average person, who is not a professional, who doesn't have, a profession in that way, maybe you don't understand what I mean. But it's very easy to identify. Now, what are you identifying with in life, right? Okay, and how do you change this? Like if you are identifying more with your profession, because we spend more time at work. We spend more time at work than we do at home. We spend more time at work than we do with our families. We spend more time at work than any other place. Okay, so now that you're spending more time at work, how do you identify with you over your position, over your job, over your function at work? Well, see, this is where mindfulness comes in. This is where self-love comes in. This is where me time comes in. So you have to make time. So my clients are high performance professionals, and what I do with my clients is I remind them that you have a dividing line here, okay? And on this side, you have your profession, you have your job, okay? Good morning, Gary. You have your job, and on this side, you have your personal time. Now, what happens when this line starts to go over here? Now you have more work and you have less time. And then if you let this go like this, now you have more work and even less time. Okay, and I'm talking about personal time. I'm talking about family time. I'm talking about me time. I'm talking about self-love time. I'm talking about all of that. I'm talking about going to the gym. I'm talking about going fishing. I'm talking about relaxing this one. Okay, now you have a lot over here, right? And only a little. And then it goes like that. Now you're bringing work home with you. Now this represents bringing home work. This represents overworking. This represents like too much focus on work. So what do you have to do? Well, you have to bring it back to the center so you have work-life balance. Okay, work-life balance. Now, if you don't have work-life balance, what happens? Well, that's when you can say the evil happens. Okay, what is the evil? What do I mean? Well, Uncle, what are you talking about? Evil. Well, if you have 50-50 work-life balance, okay? But now you're getting pulled into your job more. You're getting pulled more into work. You're getting pulled. Is your supervisor pulling you into work? No. You're pulling you into work. Okay? You're pulling you into work here, right? Oh, I have to catch up. Oh, I have to do this. I have to do that. You're putting the pressure on yourself. Okay? So what is the evil here? Well, the evil is anything that goes against good. And that's what Satan means. Okay? Satan is the opposer. It's the opposing energy, right? Now, what do you have over here? You have the evil side. Why? Why is it evil? Well, it's not desired, it's negative. Why is it negative? Everything in the negative category, okay, has its roots in fear. Now, if you're like this, your work-life balance is off because you're fearing here. Okay? Now, if your work-life balance is off because you're fearing, what does this larger area of your life represent? It represents stress, it represents work, it represents frustration, all the negative emotions, okay? Now, all the negative emotions are rooted in fear. So, what does that mean? That means that this is negative, this is bad, this is the evil because it's taking your life, it's stealing your time, it's stealing your life. Now, what do you have? Now you have your personal life over here, which is only this much. Now, if work continues and it goes like this, now you only have this much. You see what I'm saying? So most people don't, the alarm does not sound for most people until they get here. And when they get here, they go, "Oh my God, like I can't handle, like so much. I have so much anxiety. I have so much stress. I have so much worry. I'm worried about my job. I'm like I'm consumed with work. It's all about work. So I cater to high powered I call them high powered professionals, right? But this is what happens to them because work begins to consume you. If it's consuming you, is that good or evil? That's evil. That's negative. That's bad. That's wrong. Whatever. All of those things. Okay. You can put whatever label you want on it, but this is undesirable because this is spending more of your life working and stressing and filled with anxiety than this part of your life where you have free time. And some people only have enough time to go home and cook dinner and spend an hour with the kids, right? And then go to sleep and go back to work again. And now you have this improper life work balance. Okay, work life balance, life work balance, whatever you want to call it, but that's what this is. Now, how do you get back to center? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. Okay? You need to practice mindfulness. You need to bring it back. Okay? And what do you bring it back to? You bring it back to the center. Okay? Because most people, and I'm talking about experience, okay? I've been doing this since 2010 with high powered professionals. Okay, most people, the majority of high-powered professionals. So I'm talking about people who like nurses. I'm talking about doctors. I'm talking about attorneys. I'm talking about CEOs. I'm talking about business leaders. I'm talking about managers. I'm talking about people that are responsible for people. So this is what I call high performance professionals because they deal with more stress than the average person. Okay, they deal with more stress. A police officer is a high-powered professional. They have to operate above and beyond the average person's stress levels. Okay, so if they're here, right, this represents work-life balance, 50-50. Okay, now when work starts going like this and their life over here, their personal life starts shrinking, their time is being stolen by work. Okay, their life is being stolen. When you take a person's time, you take a person's life. Okay, now the job is beginning to take their life. Okay, their job is becoming a problem. Their job is becoming super stressful. They're filled with anxiety, and then they have to go to therapy, right? So now you're going to therapy because you're doing this. Now you have allowed it. Okay, you have allowed it to go from here to slowly creep over here to slowly creep like this, and then you only have a little bit of personal time here. Okay, you've allowed this. Okay, so how do you not allow? Well, first you have to bring your subconscious back. Okay, you have to bring your subconscious back to here, to center. What does this mean? This means when you're over here and you're not doing your workouts because you don't have time, okay, when you're over here and you know you go home at night and you only have time to cook dinner for the kids, spend an hour watching TV or whatever you do, right? Free time, 1 hour or something, and then you go to bed because you got to get up early because you have to be fresh again for what? For this. For this. Okay? This represents work-life balance that is not balanced. Okay, this is not work-life balance. This is the majority of work, okay, and it's stealing your life. Okay, so what do? Well, you increase the workouts. Okay, now I have a simple thing that I do called mouse down. Okay, it's mouse down. So when I was building my companies, when I was at the office every day, okay, now I work online. It's still work, but you know, I work long. I don't work hard. But when I had to commute and I had to go into the office, okay, I did my time management and I had this thing called mouse down. Okay, and when it was mouse down, and I would mark it on my calendar, when it was mouse down, that meant that I had to put the mouse down no matter what I was doing. So if I was in the, you know, in the middle of emails, if I was in the middle of, you know, doing something, okay, it was mouse down and take your break. Now you have to go back and take your breaks. If you don't have breaks, if you have a schedule and you have not scheduled breaks in your schedule, you need to take breaks in your schedule. Okay. Now this is one of the first things that I teach my high performance people. Okay. One of the first things I teach them is time management. And you can do this. You can do this in your calendar. Okay. So if you have a calendar, right? Go into your calendar and you can do this. You can section off. Okay. You can section. This is like, let me show you. Okay. Anyway, but you have a calendar like this where you can section off things. Write it into your calendar. Schedule it in. Mouse down. Okay. Now, you can call it whatever you want. Okay. You can say, take your break, but you have to start obeying your own commands. Okay. That's the hard part. That's called self-discipline. Now, I don't use the term self-discipline when I'm teaching because when I'm teaching, I don't like it to sound negative because it has a negative connotation. Self-discipline, right? When you tell somebody self-discipline, it sounds like work. Okay, so I'm here to tell you that self-discipline, another way to look at it, or another way to reframe it. Okay, reframe self-discipline into consistency. That's all it is. It's being consistent. It's doing it every day. Now, you have to be true to yourself. You can't lie to yourself. You can lie to anybody else you want to lie to, but you cannot lie to yourself, okay? Because guess what happens when you lie to yourself? You know. Guess what happens when that happens? You hold it against you. And what does that result in? It results in low self-esteem. Okay, I'm going to say it again. Low self-esteem. And pretty soon this one doesn't feel good about this one, okay? Now, we're going to talk a little bit about how you can rewire this, how you can actually evolve into a better this one, okay? A better person, a better police officer, a better fireman, a better whatever it is that you do, a better banker, a better bank teller, a better whatever, okay? So now we're going to discuss neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity just means neurons that fire together, wire together. Okay? Think about it like forming a groove. And have you ever done woodworking? You know, where you take sandpaper and you make a groove into something. Maybe you wrap it around a round peg and you kind of file the wood like that. And now you've got a groove going. Now you're making progress. It's going deeper. Okay? That's the way neuroplasticity works. Neuroplasticity just means that you're firing neurons in new patterns, okay? And your brain learns these new patterns, okay? This is a very, very sophisticated instrument, okay? You don't see the blessing when you look in the mirror, but this is a blessing, okay? You don't see the miracle when you look in the mirror, okay? Because you're too used to looking at this, okay? But this is a miracle, okay? Now, the thing about neuroplasticity and why this is a challenge, like, why is it such a challenge, Uncle? Well, it's such a challenge because you have to do this in repetition, okay? If you do something one time, it's not going to rewire your brain, okay? You need to do this through repetition. The subconscious learns in repetition. There is only the conscious, the subconscious, and superconscious. That's all there is. Now, we call the superconscious, for people that don't believe in God, we call it superconscious, okay, or consciousness, or source, or infinite intelligence, or the unseen. There's all kinds of labels that we can put on this, okay? But it's superconscious, or God. Now, if you believe in God, okay, then there's God, okay? Now, there's only the conscious, the superconscious, or the subconscious, and God, okay, if you look at it that way. All right, for you people that, are of another belief system, okay, insert your belief system there. But that's all there is. Okay, so the subconscious interacts with the superconscious, or communicates with the superconscious. And we know this, we have proof of this, right? Because when we set a goal, right? And you start taking baby steps towards the goal, what happens? Oh, just like by coincidence, you meet someone and they go, "Oh, yeah, well, good morning, Desiree." You meet someone and they go, "Oh, yeah, I do that." Or you meet somebody else and they go, "Oh, you're trying to get a job at XYZ company? I work for XYZ company. Let me introduce you to HR." Right? Okay. So how did that happen? Well, we look at that as being coincidences. We say, well, that's just a coincidence, right? Oh, the funniest thing happened. What was funny about it? Well, I met the guy that actually works at the company. I these things are lining up for me. You know why they're lining up for you? They're lining up for you because you're taking the baby steps and because you have the goal in mind. Okay? That's how powerful you are. Okay? Because your subconscious communicates with the superconscious. Now, scientists don't know specifically how that happens. They know it happens. Okay? They have proof that it happens. They just don't know how. Okay? But here's all you need to know. You just need to know the what and the why of what you're doing. That's all you need to know. What are you doing? Okay? Well, I want to be an electrician. Why? Well, I want to work with electricity. I want to learn wiring. Okay, your why. I want to make more money. I want to make more money than I'm making now. Okay, good. Okay, now that you know these things, write them down. Okay? Now, when you start on your path, you may have to take a course. You may have to go to community college. You may have to go to trade school. You may have to read books on it. You may have to study about it before you get to college. You may have to do all of these things. Okay, but when you're taking the steps, neuroplasticity starts to happen. You start to form new thoughts about these things. You start to fire new neurons, okay? And neurons that fire together wire together. And pretty soon, you've created some new pathways. Now, neural pathways also happen when you get older, okay? When you get older and you start learning things, right? When you go through new processes, neuroplasticity happens. Okay, your brain can be taught new processes at any age. It doesn't matter as long as you're alive. And this is why staying healthy matters. Because as long as you stay healthy, your brain can rewire to fit anything. Okay? You see these people that they go to war? You see these guys go to war and they come back and they've lost a leg, you know? And they've lost a leg and now they have an artificial leg. Okay? And now they run faster than before they lost their leg. You see? Okay, this is neuroplasticity. That's another example. Now, I don't want to get too deep in this, but what this means is that you're not stuck. Okay? You're not stuck with the same brain. You're not stuck with the same old thinking, the same subconscious patterns. You're not stuck. You can get unstuck. You just have to make a little effort, just a little baby steps. Okay? The reason I say baby steps is because if you take giant leaps, okay, which is very foolish, But if you take giant leaps and you have to correct a leap, that's much more than a baby step. Okay, so take baby steps. Now, when you play a musical instrument, that's another form of rewiring your brain. Okay, I've been doing this for years and years and playing multiple instruments and experimenting. Okay, I'm not really good at any one instrument. Okay, although people have said, "Oh, you're good at that. You're good at that." I mean, everything is relative. To somebody that doesn't play an instrument, anybody who plays anything, they go, "Oh, wow, you can do that." I can't do that. You can do that. Okay, but when you do things like that, when you paint, my mother started painting when she was in her 80s, like in her early 80s. She's 89 right now. And she's mentally alert. She's mentally sharp. She's doing things. She's active. Praise God, right? All of these things. Okay? Because why? Well, because she constantly works on neuroplasticity within herself. She constantly forms new neural pathways. Okay, so unless you're, satisfied with what you're getting, unless you're satisfied with the knowledge you have, okay, then fine. If you're satisfied, like there's nothing wrong with that. It's not about right or wrong. Okay, it's about nothing is really right or wrong. It's just the way it is. Okay, and if you're happy with the way it is, then fine. Enjoy and be happy. I wish you blessings. Okay. But if you're not happy with your life, if you have anxiety, fear, guilt, shame, overthinking, right? That kind of knee-jerk reactions, things tug on you like that and things trigger you like that. You can get rid of most of your triggers by yourself. Okay? A lot of people go to therapy. Therapy is popular. Therapy works. Therapy is good for certain things. Okay? But you can do this on your own. You can do this without therapy. My clients, so I'll tell you this story about one of my clients, okay? Without divulging any personal information. But one of my clients came to me and she was referred to me by a psychologist. Okay, this was years ago. She was referred to me by there's a couple of psychologists that refer people to me all the time. And I'm very grateful. I'm very blessed. I'm very thankful. Okay, very grateful. So she came to me from this psychologist, and I know who this psychologist is, right? And he's not supposed to tell me. There's laws, right? There's confidentiality laws and HIPAA laws, that kind of thing. But she told me, she goes, "Hey, I'm so and so's, whatever." Okay, so she tells me. So we go through the training, right? We go through my life coaching. We go through the affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. And we go through that process for about maybe 5 months, I think. At the 5 month mark, I asked her, I said, "Oh, hey, tell so and so." I said, "Hi." She goes, "Oh, yeah, I haven't been back." And I'm like, "You don't go to therapy anymore?" She goes, "No." Okay, now I'm not making medical claims, okay? I'm not making medical claims. But what I'm telling you is that your subconscious is very powerful, okay? Dr. Joe Dispenza has a whole bunch of video, uh, uh, like, what are they? Video testimonials of people that have gotten well from things like cancer, things like overthinking, all of that through meditation. So it doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter what avenue you travel, okay? You can do the meditation avenue, okay? You can do the affirmation avenue. Okay? You can do the visualization avenue. There's something called mind movies on YouTube. You should check it out. Mind movies. Okay, these are movies that these are videos that people put together, right? That and they custom make them for your dreams. Okay, so let's say your dream is travel. They have a video about travel, and you watch the video, and you imagine yourself there. Those things work. You may think they don't work, but they work. Your subconscious is much stronger than you think. Your mind is much stronger than you think. Just because you don't use it in this way doesn't mean it doesn't work, okay? It works. It's worked with every single thing I've done in my life. If you put my name in a browser, it's like somebody threw up. It's like it's like what? Like who is this guy? He did all this stuff. It's not that. I have a disability. My disability is ADHD. Okay, I was born with it. In my day, they didn't know about ADHD. It wasn't discovered yet. Okay, so my medicine was the belt, the stick, like you name it, the rubber slippers. Okay, we had corporal punishment in the old days. And good morning, Maram. Good morning. We had those things because nobody knew about it yet. Okay, now they know about it. Okay, now there's medicine for it. I don't take medicine for it. I use coffee. Coffee works for me. But anyway, getting back to what I was talking about and rewiring your brain. Okay, your subconscious is much stronger than you think. Okay, you can form habits like this, good or bad. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. You've been misled into the idea that only bad habits get formed like that. Okay, no, good habits get formed like that too. Okay, it depends on how you look at things. Okay, so when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Reframing is very important. Let's take a few seconds to talk about reframing. Okay, so reframing, right? Here's some information for you. So God, okay, or let's say the creator, or let's say infinite intelligence, or let's say, all of the above, okay? Consciousness does not recognize any negatives. So when you begin to write affirmations, if you say, I will not smoke anymore, what does that translate out to? That translates out to, I will smoke anymore. That's what it does. And do you quit smoking? No. Why? Because you put a negative in your affirmation. Now, God bless the children. I see them teaching affirmations wrong. Okay? God bless them. They have good intentions. Okay? But there's certain things that I'm seeing out there on social media. I'm like, whoa. Okay, that's not the way to write an intention. No wonder it's not working. Okay? So if you're trying to quit smoking, for example, this is just an example. You're trying to quit smoking, you're trying to quit vaping. Okay, use this affirmation instead. It feels good. Here, let me grab my pen. There you go. It feels good to breathe clean air. Thank you. That's your affirmation. That will work. Okay? Now, let's say, for example, you have I don't know, you have a problem with drinking, okay, and you're writing the affirmation, I will not drink anymore. It's I will drink anymore, okay? So what do you write? It feels good to be alcohol free. That's one, okay? But there are many, okay? It feels good to be sober, okay? Like that. So just understand that when you write affirmations, if you're using a negative, God doesn't understand negatives. God doesn't recognize it. Okay? Another thing is God does not punish. Where do you get the idea that God punishes? Oh, I know, from the church. The church said, "Oh, God punishes." No, 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 no. God does not punish. God is love. God is infinite love. Okay? You punish the decisions that you make. Okay, now let's look at the tree, the subconscious, okay, the paradigm, your actions, all of that. Okay, let's look at the tree. The roots of the tree, okay, that's your subconscious programming. Those are your beliefs. A belief is a thought you keep thinking. Good morning, Jay. Good morning, Leo. Good morning, Desiree. So a belief is a thought you keep thinking. That forms your paradigm or the way you see the world. That's the trunk of the tree. Now, way up here, on the branches of the tree are the fruits. Those are your actions, okay? Those are your habits, and those result in what materializes or your outcomes, okay? So now you understand the tree. Now, if you want to change the outcomes that are, the result of the fruits, for your religious people in the Bible, it says, you shall know them by their fruits, okay? Or in translation, you'll know them by what they do, okay? You'll know what kind of person they are. All you have to do is look at a person's results and you go, oh, okay, right? Women are really good at this. Women are really good at seeing results, okay? Because women are hypergamous. Okay, they're hypergamous for a reason because they bear young. Okay, mama bears, right? They need to take care of their young. So they're hypergamous. Okay, if you don't know what hypergamy is, go look it up. Okay? But they're hypergamous. Okay, so what does this mean? They're really good at spotting losers. Okay? They can spot a loser and they can spot a winner. Okay, so women are really good at this. Men, men are usually focused on that one thing. They're focused on their job. They go straight ahead, straight line, that kind of thing, right? More logic than emotion. Okay, but here's the thing, right? You can change any of it, or you can change the majority of it. And the majority of it that you change, okay, when you start talking about neuroplasticity and you want to rewire your brain, it's very easy. It doesn't take very much. It doesn't take a lot to form new habits. Okay? So it just takes a little time, it takes repetition, and it only takes a few times. It doesn't take like a whole bunch of times. Now, to get in the habit of doing something, let's say religiously, for lack of a better term, okay, which means you do it faithfully, which means you you do it with repetition for a long time, or I don't like to say self-discipline, so I say consistency. Okay, when I say self-discipline, my clients kind of tense up. They go like that. I'm like, no, that's a dirty word, discipline, right? But basically, that's what it is. Good morning, ZB. Good morning, ZB the Great. Right. So we're broadcasting on 7 platforms this morning, across the world, internationally, in different places. So we welcome you all. We'd like to say welcome and aloha from Hawaii. So what does it take to form a new habit? It just takes a few times. Okay, but be mindful. Mindfulness is important. Mindfulness, okay, will take you anywhere you want to go if you're mindful. Now, human beings can observe themselves. Okay, now I say this all the time. Okay, but I'm saying it for the people that pop in. I'm saying it for the new people that are joining us. There's tons of people joining us right now. I can see the viewers and everything. So, and we thank you for being here. But for the people who have just joined us that haven't heard me speak on this before, okay, your habits, okay, to form a new habit, right, and then to do it consistently is not that tough, okay, because after a while, it's part of your program. It's part of your subconscious program. Okay, to form a habit and to be consistent with the habit is easy. It's not difficult. Why do we look at it as being difficult or like work? Well, number one is the word discipline, right? Self-discipline. That's one, okay? But the other thing is like, oh, I gotta do this every day. Yeah, you can do it every day. Look, I did mine this morning, okay? I did mine this morning. Okay? I did mine this morning. You can see the date there. You see the date? Okay. Oops. There. Sorry, I got so many cameras. But you have to do this every day, or at least if you skip, then make it up, right? So sometimes I skip, I make it up. I have 2 tablets. Okay, so I know this looks crazy, but for you guys that just joined us, we're gonna show you again. Okay, for you old timers, you've been with me a long time, you guys know. Okay, like this every day. Okay, and if you miss, make up. Okay, sometimes I miss and I have different tablets and I make up on another tablet, so sometimes the dates aren't exactly concurrent. Okay, but you can do this too. Okay, and you can do it every day. It's not difficult. It takes like not even 60 seconds to write a sentence. If you can make that investment in your life to write a sentence for 60 seconds, okay, if you can take time out of your life to read that sentence every evening before bed, okay. When I went to bed this morning, I woke up at 12 midnight. My schedule is very different, but I woke up at 12 midnight and then I went back to bed. And on my way back to bed, I spoke to my subconscious again. And when you do this, when you speak things into your subconscious, when your brain is in theta state, what does that mean? What's that, Uncle? That means you're relaxed. That means you're ready to sleep. That means you're very, very calm and very relaxed and on your way to bed. That's when your subconscious is listening the hardest. Okay? Also, when you wake up in the morning, your brain is in theta state. First thing in the morning. okay? And your brain is in theta state and it's receptive, okay? That's when you talk to your subconscious. That's when you say it. That's when you write it, okay? That's when you speak it out loud, okay? So, some people say speaking the dream, it's an old school thing, right? You have to speak the dream, okay? So, affirmations, meditation, visualization, and vocalization. Okay, now for the vocalization, you can look at the Confidence of Science tab on the website. It's hereforyoulifecoaching.com. There's only 2 tabs. Okay, it's not a complicated website. It's meant to be simple. Okay, so there's just the core things on one page. The second page is the science of confidence. So when you do your vocalization exercise, the way we do it, okay, with the projection, with the strength, okay, we're talking velocity, wind speed, okay. When you do it with projection like that, what happens is it starts to fire your hormones, your neurotransmitters start to fire, and the hormones oxytocin, endorphin fire. Your GABA levels lower. Okay, I'm doing this all in real time. I told you I have ADHD. My brain skips tracks, and your cortisol levels, the fight or flight syndrome. Okay, that lowers. And then you start to calm and that anxiety goes away. Now, when we use the term healing, what we're saying is when you don't have anxiety, when you're not overthinking, when you're calm inside, we call that a healing. And in that respect, I'm a healer. In that respect, we do a lot of healing. You can see the results of our healing if you go to our Google page. I'll show it to you. So, and like I said, like anybody can say anything, but I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm not here to sell you anything at all. I'm here to give you the good news that you can do it for yourself, because I had to do it for myself. So that's our Google page right there. So we have, what's that? 44 5-star reviews. So you can go to our Google page. It's Here for Your Life Coaching in Honolulu, Hawaii. Okay. We also have another page that's actually, for our voice school. We have a family of service companies in Hawaii. So, and this one is, so this one is 56 5-star reviews. Okay, 56 5-star reviews. We don't get anything less than a 5-star review because we're working with this. We're working with an amazing tool. Okay, so our clients are the amazing ones. Our clients are human beings, okay? In order to, have a human being perform at their optimum, okay, it's affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. There, you have it. You have the answer, okay? So my clients are people that are under extreme stress. My clients are people that have extreme anxiety. My clients are people that are so busy that they have meetings multiple times a week. It's go, 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 go. And I know because I was there. I did the same thing. Okay. But here's the thing, right? When you're in that mode, push, 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 go, 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 like that, right? It got to me after a while, and I had to learn. And I had to learn that, hey, wait a minute, there's a rhythm to this. Okay. Back in the day, it was called biorhythms, right? There's many different terms for it now. Quantum physics is a thing. So it's in many different arenas, as it were, or genres right now. Okay, but we know that there's a rhythm to life. There's a rhythm to money. Money is an energy. You want more money? Develop your rhythm. Develop your rhythm. How do you develop your rhythm? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. The vocalization part, what that does is it raises your awareness. Now you become more aware. When you're more aware, see, animals don't have that ability, okay? Animals have this, they look like that. They look like that, okay? Animals have that experience. They only have that one experience, okay? We observe ourselves. You know what the problem with that is? We start critiquing ourselves because we know what we're doing wrong. We do something wrong and we go, made a mistake, but yeah. And after a while, you start to hold it against yourself. Okay, so pretty soon this one, right, becomes disappointed in this one. And what's the result? The result is low self-esteem. So how do you avoid that? How do we reverse that? affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. Okay. Now, the visualization part, let's work on that. So, the visualization part is how you see yourself. How do you see yourself? Okay. Do you like what you see when you look in the mirror? Or is it like, I'm getting old. I got gray hair now. All that kind of stuff. Do you like what you see? Do you love what you see? You need to love what you see. And in order to love what you see, you need to understand that this is a miracle. The fact that you showed up as a human being this time around. Yes, I said this time around. This time around, okay, is a miracle. You could have been a lily pad. You could have been a frog. You could have been any other form of energy. Because energy is eternal. You are eternal. This in you, this energy in you, this spirit in you is eternal. You can't extinguish it. Einstein proved that to us. So now that you know you're eternal, what are you afraid of? Right? There's nothing to fear but fear itself. President Roosevelt told us that, right? Franklin Delano Roosevelt said that. So what are we really fearing when we're in that mode, when we're climbing the ladder, when we're push like that, when we're pushing to the point that we're losing our minds? Well, why? Why? Because we don't understand the rhythm. You don't understand the rhythm of life. You don't understand the rhythm of work. You don't understand the rhythm of money. Now, what does it take to understand that? Well, you have to elevate your understanding. You have to elevate your observation of yourself, right? You have to be able to look down at what you're doing and go, oh, that. Yeah, I see the synchronicities in that. And all that takes is to elevate your awareness. That's all. Just raise your awareness. How do you raise your awareness? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. Can you be more specific, Uncle? Sure, absolutely. When you express yourself through your voice with velocity, with strength, it raises your awareness. Pretty soon, you become aware of yourself more. When you're aware of yourself more, you can see synchronicities. What am I talking about? Synchronicities. Well, you're talking to your friend on the street, and you guys are talking about a steak dinner this weekend, and you see the meat truck drive by, and you go, oh, I was just talking about steak, and I see the picture of the steak on the meat truck. Or you see the picture of the cow, and you go, wow, I was just talking about steak. Coincidence? See? Okay. Iris, good morning. Good morning, Iris. So is it a coincidence, or is the subconscious working with the superconscious showing you confirmation or showing you? Okay. It's actually your reticular activating system that's filtering these things to you. It filters to you. Okay. Your reticular activating system points out these things. It says, hey, look, steak dinner. You see the cow? See the cow in the truck? You know? And we've been through this scenario a couple of times this week, so I'm not going to repeat it. But it's your reticular activating system. Now, if you were born with that in your brainstem, if you were born with all of these capabilities, then why do you not see yourself as a miracle? See? You're the highest creation of the Creator. You were created in the Creator's likeness. Okay, what does that mean? That means you're a co-creator. Okay? That means you and the superconscious work together. That means the subconscious and superconscious work together. Now, scientists, like I said it earlier, scientists don't know exactly how that process works, but they know it works. They know it's there. Okay? So neuroplasticity is very important because you need to fire new neurons for new things, for new pathways, for new things, so that you're not stuck with the old stuff. That's all. That's all it is. Okay? Now, affirmations. How are you going to do your affirmations? How do we do this, Uncle? Okay, affirmations, right? I am so happy. Here, let me grab my pen. I am so happy and grateful. Okay, now that I am what? Working at, and be specific. Be specific. Okay, because you'll be surprised. Okay, you'll be surprised how this works. I am so happy and grateful now that I am working at XYZ company. Thank you. There you go. That's your affirmation. If you're looking for a job. Okay. If you write to me at junior@hereforyoulifecoaching.com, I'll give you affirmations. Just ask me. Ask me a question. I'll write to you. Okay. It might take a while because I get a lot of emails. Okay. But I will get back to you. If you want my book, we've been talking about this week. Okay. This is my book, The Universal Law of Attraction and Singing. It's not about singing, it's about how vocalization changes lives. It's about how when you express yourself through your voice, and the neurotransmitters fire and your hormones flood your brain, how you get calm. And it's real stories about real people that change their lives, okay, through their voice. Now, if you want a copy of this, I'll give it to you free. Just right, I gave away a copy yesterday from yesterday's live. So if you want a copy of it, just write to me, junior@hereforyoulifecoaching.com, or if you're on TikTok, message me. If you're on Facebook, message me. Okay, or put it in the thread in the comments. Okay, and if there's anybody here that needs help with something specific right now, just write it in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer. But when you write, it's important. You know, some people just write affirmations like I have a new car, or I have a new job, or I have a whatever. But no, write I am, okay? Write I am, because in Exodus, okay, when Moses said to God, he said, if I come to the people of Israel and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you, and they ask me what is his name, what do I say? Okay, God's name is I. I am is a complete sentence, okay? I am refers to you because you are a co-creator. You were made in the image of the creator. Okay? So I am who I am is the answer. Okay? Say this to the people of Israel, that I am sent you. That's how it's written in the Bible. It's written in other holy books. Okay? But use I am. I am so happy and grateful. So you want to be happy when you do it, okay? If you're not that happy, okay, just pretend you're happy, start to feel happy, and then write your affirmation. Because you have to marry intention with emotion for manifestation. Okay, now how does that work against us? It works against us somehow, right? Because like sometimes I bring bad stuff, right? Okay, so like attracts like. Negative energy attracts negative energy. Okay, you know when you hold grudges against somebody, or you say something against someone, okay, what you're really doing is you're marrying intention with emotion again. Okay, now the problem with people is they focus so much on what they don't want rather than what they want, right? I don't want that to happen. Oh, the last thing I want is for that to happen, right? I don't want that, right? Like that, okay? And what they're doing is they're marrying intention with emotion, okay? They don't want it. They're feeling that when they say it. I don't want this. I don't want that. They're not focusing on what they do want. The difference between wealthy people and people who are not in the know, or the people, let's say it another way, the people that know about it and the people don't know about it, right? The difference between those two is the people that know about it, they know to keep speaking on what they want, and the good things that they want, and the outcomes that they want, the goals that you always hear successful people talking about goals, always. You know, we're gonna go to Taiwan and open a new shop in Taiwan. We're gonna open another location in Japan. We're gonna open another location in Las Vegas. We're gonna, successful people talk about these things. Successful people talk about what they're going to do rather than what they don't want to happen. So again, you're marrying intention with emotion when you do that. So it's very important to do that. It's very important to speak of things you want to accomplish. It's very important to think of positive things that you want to experience. Oh, I want to go to Tahiti one day. Oh, I want to go to the Marquesas one day. Or I want to go to play in the snow one day. Or I want to go, whatever it is. I want to go to walk on the Great Wall of China one day. Okay, focus on that. Focus on that. When you take the baby steps, when you start taking steps, I've taken so many steps in my life. I used to work around a lot of negative people, people who would actually do stuff to me on purpose to just see how I would react about things. And when I caught on, right, I started giving them the reaction they wanted, you know. And it was kind of funny because, I was in here, the joke was on them, right? And I gave them what they wanted. I gave them a little performance. Okay. But I'm telling you, when you're serious in your life and you're complaining about this, that, and the other thing, your subconscious doesn't know if you're talking to somebody else or if you're talking to yourself. When you're speaking against somebody else, your subconscious doesn't know if you're talking to somebody else or yourself. And when you marry intention with emotion, and this can be good and this can be bad. Okay, so the good part is that I'm going to go to the Great Wall of China one day. I'm gonna go. Okay, that's a good intention. Okay, all right. Jimmy sucks. Okay, that's a bad intention. All right, but there's emotion behind it because you're feeling that when you say it, right? It's like that. Okay, and that's why it's bad because it will bring you negative karma. Karma is real. But the way we say karma and what karma really is a little bit different. I don't have time to go into that. Okay. But if you really want the real meaning of karma, then just write to me, junior at hereforyoulifecoaching.com, and I'll send you an email and explain it to you. Okay, but the thing that we know as karma is a little bit different. Okay, but that kind of karma, when we reference karma, we say, oh well, what goes around comes around. Yeah, it does, but it does it through your subconscious. The actions that you do dictate the results that you get. It's that simple. But we're unaware of a lot of it. We're unaware that our subconscious is listening. We're unaware that whatever we do, our subconscious is taking notes. We're unaware that when we speak or when we swear or when we think thoughts that are negative, it goes into our subconscious as beliefs if we think it enough. If you just think it one time, whatever, a couple of times, a belief. I, not I. Okay. Okay. Raw. I get it. Yeah. You could do that if that works for you. Okay. And thanks for the follows, you guys. Thank you on TikTok. Thank you, TikTok, for the follows. Love you guys. So, anyway, right now let's get back to what we're talking about. Okay. So, your subconscious is always listening, it's always paying attention, but it helps you with neuroplasticity because it helps you to form new patterns. It helps your brain rewire into new firing neurons that wire together. So you rewire your brain, okay? Now, this works with puzzles. This works with crossword puzzles. It fires new neurons, okay? It works with learning how to play a musical instrument. It works with learning how to paint. All of these things, especially creative things, okay? Right brain activities, okay? The other thing is that I want to mention while we're talking about the right brain, when you get intuitive thought, that's where it comes from. Okay, when you get intuitive thought, you need to act on it. Hey, BR, when you get intuitive thought, you need to follow up on it. Okay, a lot of people get rationalized out of their dreams from the left brain. Okay, from this side. Okay, depending on how you're looking at me, yeah, it looks like the opposite side, right? But that's what happens because you get the intuitive thought and it's like, oh, I should do this. And the left brain goes, yeah, but that probably won't work, right? And it starts to rationalize you out of your dreams. So the majority of people don't live their dreams. That's the only one rule in my life. My one rule is like, if it's not my dream, I'm not going to live it. I refuse. I only have so much time. Okay, and now that we're talking about time, okay, time. Your time is your life. Okay, and you don't know how much time you have. You don't know how much life you have. If you're young, God bless you. I wish you a long life. Okay, but even you don't know how much time you have. I don't care how young you are. Okay, so don't waste your time. Here's how you can invest your time. You can invest your time into other people. I do this all the time, and it pays huge dividends, like huge dividend. I can't even tell you. Okay, I have an agreement with God. Okay, now you make the same kind of agreement with God as you make with the devil. Okay, you hear these people, they sign their lives over to the devil. Okay, you can sign your life over to God. Okay, I'm here to give you the good news. You can do that. Okay, if you want to call it source, whatever. But you need to make an agreement, and you need to keep your side of the agreement. Okay, so invest your time in people. Invest your time and energy into projects that serve others. Invest your time and energy into something that benefits someone else besides yourself. It doesn't matter. Ricardo, good morning. As long as it benefits others, as long as it benefits someone else. Okay, if you're living your life for yourself and only yourself, you're missing out. You're missing out in life. You're missing out on a great opportunity. I've mentored hundreds and hundreds of people. I've taught thousands of people, over 7,000 people in my lifetime. And after that, we just stopped counting. Okay, but I'm just saying that, for me, my agreement with God is my teaching. Okay, and that's why we're doing a live. I'm not here to sell you anything. Okay, so you don't have to buy anything from me. I don't have this program that, yeah, none of that. I'm here to spend my time 1 hour every day in the morning for you, so that you can become aware, so that you go, oh, really? I can do that? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization, I can do that? Yeah, you can do that. Okay, so the visualization part, before we go, recap. Visualization, you have to see yourself worthy. You have to see yourself there. You have to imagine yourself with your goal, whatever your goal is, okay? The other thing, this is a gratitude board, okay? This is a gratitude board. This is my gratitude board. A gratitude board is different from a vision board. Okay, a vision board is things you want. A gratitude board is things you already have, okay, that you're grateful for. Okay, and this reminds me to say thank you. And when I look at this, I just say thank you. Just yesterday, I'll say thank you for a few things here. Also, I have my affirmation pad with a pen right there. Okay, you want to change your life? That's all you need right there to start. Okay, that's all you need is one of these. Okay, now visualization. So also make a vision board. Okay, I know I set up we were going to make a vision board this week, and we did not get around to that yet, but it's coming. Okay, this is a vision board. Okay, that's a vision board. Okay, the other one is a gratitude board. Do both. Okay, so that's visualization. Vocalization, express your voice with velocity. Okay, so yeah, we'll go over more of that later, but speak the dream. Read your affirmations out loud. Meditation, sit still for 10 minutes. If you need a mantra, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. It's Hawaiian Ho'oponopono. You can look it up. It's a thing, and it works. It works. It's like a dry erase board with an eraser just clearing the whole slate. It's like clearing the whole thing, right? I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Okay, I made a mistake. Now I'm going to say that. I'm going to sit still for 10 minutes and receive divine instruction. Okay, so I'm going to listen to God. Okay, praying is speaking to God. Meditation is listening to God. You need to do both. Okay, so do both. And affirmations, right? I am. Use I am. If you want to use a double I am so happy and grateful now that I am. Okay, that's two I ams. That's more powerful. Okay, do it as much as you can. Okay, but do that. I am so happy and grateful now that I am blank. I am what? I am working at XYZ company. I am making $200 extra this month. I am, loving my children more, spending more time with my children. I am being a better husband. I am being a better wife. Okay, all of that stuff. Okay, but do that because it works. Okay, so we've come to another end of another exciting episode. I want to thank you guys for being here. We're on 7 platforms every morning across the world. We're on TikTok. We're on YouTube. Can I just say everything? Yeah. TikTok, YouTube. We're on Trovo in Europe. We're all over the place. So anyway, and we're on Facebook. Facebook, aloha, you guys. So yeah, we're on Facebook as well. So until tomorrow morning.